There's one thing that this Philadelphia Eagles team going into 2021 absolutely 100% have to do. Find out what that is coming up next.
The following announcement has been paid for by
the ENN Podcast.
He has a good energy, you guys.
Can you believe it?
Sports.
Can you feel it? Can you feel that excitement?
The merchandise, wearing the hats.
Chris Wild here live from Lincoln Financial.
And I'm telling you, if you let Eli Manning walk into that stadium,
Music.
Wow.
man, again, and I hate to do this again, but these are goosebumps.
Whoa!
And more.
What's his next book gonna be called? Spineless?
Mike.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the ENN Podcast. I'm, of course, professional wrestler Chris Wild, the Big League 2020 Fantasy Football Champion, and the good brother of Broad Street. A lot of people ask me, why do you say you're the good brother of Broad Street? Well, for a matter of fact, I live on a Broad Street, and of course, we all know what Broad Street means to us fans in Philadelphia. So that is why. Now, with that being said, in the open, I said that there's something that the Philadelphia Eagles absolutely have to do for this upcoming 2021 NFL season that they haven't done yet. And if you looked at the thumbnail, you probably already know. And that is there's one guy that they need to sign. They need to sign him now, today, before I even let this video out. And it's not very often that I beat the table for a guy. It's not very often that they say the Eagles have to get a guy. But with the Eagles cornerback situation going into 2021, they absolutely needed to rather do something in the draft or sign a free agent cornerback. And I know that's hard to do for a team that has salary cap issues in 2021, but if it's one thing I kind of learned this offseason, I kind of knew, was that this cap thing, it's almost like a work. I mean, it's almost not real. It seems like teams with cap issues always seem to go out, sign the guys they want, restructure guys' contracts to get money. And the Eagles should have some money left over after Zach Ertz eventually leaves, because I just don't see him staying here. As much as I would love him to be a Philadelphia Eagle, I don't think the Eagles are going to take on his $8 million cap hit.
Oh, really?
So whether he's released or traded at some point, I think that money is going to be available. Now, they also got the money from the Alshon Jeffrey and Malik Jackson contracts. And I know they've signed some rookies, but they need to get them all signed. With that being said, I think there will be enough money left for free agent cornerback Steven Nelson out of Pittsburgh from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, he was released from his contract after last season, but not because he was a bad player, because the Steelers were looking to shed some cap money as well, and they were trying to restructure with Steven Nelson. Now, Steven Nelson said no, absolutely not. He felt that he was better than the money he was getting already. So he's currently a free agent and just waiting for a cornerback needing team to come and get him. He sent out a tweet after June 1st. If you want to be average, but if you want to win, come get me. Look, the Eagles need somebody opposite Darius Slay. There's such a gaping hole for that number 2 cornerback spot on the Eagles that during OTAs, and again, I said this in a previous video, it gives me absolute nightmares that Michael Jacquet could be our number 2 cornerback. Now, earlier last year, he kind of looked kind of promising, then having one of the worst games I've ever seen out of an Eagles cornerback against the Dallas Cowboys of all teams. He just absolutely looked like a guy that works at Walmart, like a guy that just jumped from Walmart to become a NFL cornerback. I'm nothing against people that work at Walmart. I did at one point in my life. But you get the point. He just did not look like an NFL player. And I don't have confidence that he is going to look like an NFL player, even with great coaching from a defensive coordinator that was formerly a secondary coach in Jonathan Gannon. I'm not ready to go there. I'm not ready to see Braylon Arnold at that position. I'm not ready to see Avonte Maddox, who is a slot corner there. And I don't know what Zach McPherson brings as a rookie 4th-round pick into the mix. I don't. There's so many question marks, and that's such a prominent position in the league now that this is a passing league. I mean, you look at the NFC East and just some of the guys that they're going to have to go against. The Amari Coopers of the world, the CD Lambs of the world. Kenny Galladay is over in New York, even though they don't have a quarterback. You still got Terry McLaurin over in Washington. I mean, it is a passing league, and the Eagles are going to have to play catch up or have an offense as good as these other offenses just to compete if they don't get somebody over there. And I just think Steven Nelson is the perfect fit. Now, is he an all-star cornerback? I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. I can read off some stats and you can form your opinion there, but stats are just numbers. You look at as of 2020, he has 291 tackles, 52 pass deflections, and 7 interceptions. Us as Eagle fans may remember 2 of those interceptions coming in last year's game against our former quarterback, Carson Wentz. The guy is a very confident player. He has the attitude to play that position. And look, in 2019, he allowed 0 touchdowns. Last year was 7. But again, I don't put much stock into last year. I just don't. And in a year where there were no fans, where there were nothing in the offseason as far as workouts, OTAs. I mean, it was just nothing. COVID protocols, everything was so different. And obviously, that has to affect the way a player plays. It just has to. Even the best players weren't at their best at certain times during last year. So I don't put much stock into that. And I do believe that he can go back to that 2019 form with a good defense. And look, the Eagles defense, again, Jonathan Gannon, secondary coach. He gets the best out of secondary players. So why not bring a guy in like Steven Nelson? I think that would fit that secondary and fill it out pretty decently. I mean, Avonte Maddox, I think, can be a good slot corner. I think Zach McPherson is going to be a good player. And they just signed Anthony Harris as a safety to go with Rodney McLeod. I think everything just fits together if you add Steven Nelson. Rashad Breeland was another guy, but he was already signed. So Steven Nelson just kind of seems like the only guy that's left out there. Now, we remember before the 2017 season started, actually it was after the first preseason game, the Eagles traded Jordan Matthews to the Buffalo Bills and got promising cornerback Ronald Darby. So there is still a possibility that the Eagles just trade for a corner that we don't even have in mind. But if that's not in the plans, I think you absolutely have to sign Steven Nelson. And I know I'm not the only Eagles fan out there that feels that way. So there's my rant on what the Eagles should do. Please sign Steven Nelson. Make it a little bit easier on Darius Slay, who didn't exactly have a great 2020 last year. Still believe he's one of the best corners in the league, as he has a lot to prove coming up this season. Again, with a completely new defensive staff, I think that's possible. But you got to get that number 2 cornerback. You absolutely have to. And Steven Nelson, I think, is that guy. With that being said, guys, thanks for subscribing. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, as it means the world to everybody here at ENN. Thanks, guys, for motivating me to over 500 videos. I think that's absolutely awesome. And be on the lookout for more content, not just Eagles content, but content in all sorts of entertainment and sports. With that being said, stay safe, stay healthy, go Birds, and I'll see you later.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
I need Eagle Nation.